Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There's going to be a massive fail in Dundee, but given who lives there, that's hardly surprising. Humza Yousaf's hometown is going to have a low emission zone. Only the council haven't really thought it out, have made some rules up without checking their own fleet, and approximately 20% of all council vehicles will now be barred from Dundee. Brilliant, isn't it? There's going to be a huge bill, but it won't be the councillors, of course, that will be paying this. Oh no, it will be the taxpayers. The taxpayers of Dundee, of Humza Yousaf's hometown, will have a massive increase in their council tax to pay for the mistakes of Dundee Council, an SNP-run council. Let's look at this story to see why the poor people living in Dundee are going to get ever so slightly poorer. And whose fault is it? And who are they going to blame? And there's an election coming up. Oh dear, Humza might be out. Here goes. So, Dundee City Council, low emission zone embarrassment, as 1/5 of its entire fleet of vehicles will be banned from the town. The SNP-run local administration face expensive bills to hire compliant council vehicles after 1/5 of its own will be subjected to fines next year. No, let us be straight up here. It will not be the SNP-run local administration that will face these expensive bills. It will be the taxpayers of Dundee. This will be out of their tax, their council tax. And of course, when people get overly taxed and stressed and strained, they see these terrible ideas put in and it's very inconvenient to them and all this sort of thing. They take that out. They look to see who has caused this problem. And they will see that it is the SNP that's caused this problem. And so they may not vote SNP next time. Well, the next vote is likely to be the general election. Humza Yousaf may not get back in. This one policy may come to ultimately be the most embarrassing thing that can ever happen to a leader of a party, and that is to lose his own seat. Anyway, let's get into this. The SNP badly run Dundee City Council is facing its own low emission zone humiliation after it was revealed that 1 in 5 of its vehicles will be banned from the city centre next year. And this revelation comes amid Glasgow's struggles on launching its own environmental scheme. And Edinburgh, they're all Aberdeen, they're all over, and they've all got the same problem. They've brought these rules in, and they've based it not on emissions, but on age of vehicles. These people are morons because it doesn't matter about the age of the vehicle. An old vehicle can be cleaner than a new vehicle. But they just plucked this random number out of the air and there we go. Anyway, Glasgow was the first city in Scotland to ban all older and polluting motors. No. Older doesn't mean polluting. No, you can have a brand new polluting motor. But these people, stupid. Anyway, it was the first city in Scotland to ban all older and polluting motors from driving through its main thoroughfare, with it launching on June the 1st. But there are significant loopholes, including foreign cars being exempt because they are not on the DVLA database. Yes, they didn't actually think about this because, of course, that requires intelligence. And we are talking about the SNP. Anyway, the SNP-led administration, and this is in Glasgow, is having to fork out to hire removal trucks, as most of its fleet is banned from the city centre. In total, 616 of its 1,615 strong vehicles are not allowed inside the zone. This is Glasgow. But the Courier reported that 173 council-owned motors would be restricted from entering the zone in Dundee and would face fines for doing so. And this is out of a total fleet of 836 and consists of a mix of vans, tippers and RCVs. Refuse collection vehicles, in case you were wondering. Those driving them will be charged a nominal fee for breaking the law once enforcement starts on May the 30th. In Glasgow, motorists are fined £60, with this doubled every time they re-enter the zone, up to a maximum of £480 for cars and light goods vehicles, and £960 for buses and HGVs. Now, all you need to do is put a foreign plate on and you're exempt, number one. Number two, this stupid law based on age, not emissions. I mean, you can buy a brand new car that is the most polluting car ever made, and you're fine to drive through the city, whereas you can have an older car that is one day older than the limit, but is one of the cleanest cars on the planet, would not be allowed. Does that even make sense? Of course it doesn't. It's stupid beyond the... I mean, I cannot even think down to the level that's required for that kind of stupidity. It's ridiculous. But then to do all that, and then to look afterwards at what your own vehicles, what your own council vehicles, how many of them meet the... It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's almost as though they... Now, I can't say it, but it's almost as though they haven't got a clue what they're doing. Anyway, Scottish Tory North East MSP Maurice Golden urged his local council to look at the massive issues in Glasgow while preparing to launch their own. He said the issue Dundee Council is having with its own low emission zone is similar to other parts of the country. It points to poor planning, go figure, and underfunding by the Scottish Government if the council hasn't got ahead of the game with vehicles that comply with these controversial zones. Why should businesses and members of the public bother? I hope officials in Dundee are watching the chaos that has occurred in Glasgow carefully and learning from it. This is the SNP. They are quite incapable of learning anything. He called on council bosses to explain how they will cope with so many of their vehicles being banned from the zone. He added, it's clear the council won't have the money to simply upgrade these cars, so it will have to detail how it's going to cope in a way that doesn't impact services. Like so many environmental initiatives put through by the SNP Green government, it risks causing more problems than it solves. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't solve the air pollution problem, because you're still going to have very, very polluting vehicles going through the city. They just happen to be new polluting vehicles. And it actually makes things worse, because you haven't got the ability to get in and actually sort out the problems that are there, meaning more congestion, more problems, worsening environmental conditions, because SNP and Greens, as you know, room temperature IQ. The low emission zone in Dundee will cover the city centre, with the A991 Inner Ring Road acting as the boundary. Drivers will be fined if they enter the zone with a non-compliant car. It is stupid, isn't it? It's utterly stupid. These people deserve to be fired. Next election, the good people of Dundee and Glasgow and anywhere else where they're bringing in these stupid schemes need to vote with their pencils. Put an X in a box, but not the SNP's box. Any other box. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what box, just not the SNP. Mark Flynn, convener of the council's City Development Committee, told the Courier that there is no specific type of vehicle that has been found to be non-compliant, with the issues being found across the existing fleet. He added, we're looking to have the percentage of non-compliant vehicles down to 15% by May 24, when enforcement of the low emission zone starts. Who's paying? Yeah? Quo Vendi. It may be 3 to 4 years for every vehicle to be compliant. However, he said it should be noted that all the vehicles operating in the proposed low emission zone will be compliant. Yes, because otherwise they'll be getting fines, and you'll be fining the drivers, and the drivers will just be handing the expenses in, creating even more work. It's stupid. It is stupid beyond belief. Who comes up with ideas like this? And then why? And then why don't they just quit? Because they're obviously too stupid to be given authority. And yet they are given authority. The people of all the places in Scotland that's getting these low emission zones need to question them and say, why have you done it by age of vehicle and not by the emission from the vehicle? Moronic, isn't it? Well, we all know why. It's got nothing to do with the environment. Everything to do with keeping poor people outside the city, keeping poor people in their place, all in preparation of the 15-minute ghettos that they're trying to build, and just need to be rejected at every single stage. And the next election, and the one after that, and the one after that, and the one after that, reject. Vote elsewhere. Vote for any party that promises not to proceed with the 15-minute ghettos or things like this. Stupidity, money wasted, your money wasted. Anyway, I shall round off and come up. So there we go. Another SNP scheme doomed to failure before it even starts. And you've got more cities to come yet. Wait till all the other cities that are getting them start by destroying their entire reputation by saying, oh yeah, we brought this in, but none of our vehicles can go into the city because we're the SNP and we don't get things right. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I say that. It's only way too believable. We know from very long experience that the SNP are incapable of doing anything. Not sensibly, not efficiently, not that's ever going to be a success. Everything they do is doomed to failure, ridicule and mockery because that's who they are. I just feel sorry for the people who are now going to have extra monies put onto their council tax to pay for this magnificent stupidity, and what a right cock-up it really is, honestly. But anyway, you keep voting for them, this is what you get. You need to stop voting. I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see in here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, the truth is always out there. Goodbye.